Downs and Booze. I'm with Julie Clements, who is a real estate agent for Smythe. Yes?
That's right, Smythe Property here in Bowral.
And Illawarra.
And
Wollongong. You said Illawarra, but I thought Illawarra was Southern Highlands down to Wollongong.
Yeah, the Illawarra goes all the way from Helensburgh right down to Shell Harbour.
Okay.
So I work for Smythe Property as an agent down there and up here. So I actually do sell real estate up here as well, and down on the coast, which is a really pretty place. Lots of people from here move down there, and from there move up here.
Or from Queensland to here.
Yeah, or from Queensland to here.
So we are today, this is Julie's, if you've been watching, we match food and wine with food with our Verwood wine. We're doing the Chardonnay today. Now Julie's creation is her food wine match, so I'm really excited to give it a try. What are we cooking, Julie?
We are going to make a French dish that is a white wine chicken French dish with walnuts and garlic, which is absolutely yummy. And I did learn this from a traditional French chef.
Oh, nice. So let's go.
Okay, so we need to make sure that we don't preheat our pan, because it's really important when you're cooking your garlic that you don't put it in a hot pan, because what you don't want is you don't want to have any browning in the pan. So we're going to put the garlic into the pan with some wine and butter, and we need to slice the garlic. We don't want to crush it, because what we're needing to do is, this is a pretty rustic dish. This is not like cordon bleu fancy cooking. This is pretty much a farm dish. Doesn't have many ingredients at all. So that's all you do. And then
that smells good.
It smells beautiful. It's going to be on my hands for about 3 weeks now. So we're going to just put some white wine into the pan.
Do you need to cut the chicken, or is it cooked?
No, that is going to be cooking like that. So it's actually going to cook in the liquid. Okay, what we need to do is we need to put our butter into our pan.
How much butter?
That is probably, I don't know, a tablespoon.
Yep.
And put your wine in, because remember, we don't want burning. And we're going to turn the heat on. We're going to wait for that to heat and just you'll see it start to melt down.
So what got you into real estate?
I was in real estate years and years and years ago in Sydney when before the Olympics took off, and I loved it then. And then I'm actually a beauty therapist by trade.
Yeah.
So I've always been in a profession that's been helping people at some level. And I quite like people, believe it or not. And so I did have quite a big spa for 10 years in the Illawarra, and then I closed that, and I decided to go back into real estate, and I really love it because I work at my own pace. I do have a very more personal involvement with my vendors. I'm very protective about my vendors, so I'm very caring. I try and manage more smaller listing sizes. I don't want to be this big agent that has 100 sales and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I don't need that ego. I think I'm old enough to not have to worry about that at this stage of life. So that's what I do, and I really like working in the Highlands and the Illawarra because, one, I'm a bit of a country girl at heart as well. But I find a lot of people move from the Highlands to the sea change, and from the sea change to the tree change. So it works really well. But yeah, I like meeting people, as you know, look at that.
Yeah,
I pick grapes and now I'm cooking.
Look, it was pretty little, as it's melting, there's little arty
little artworks going on there, yeah. So the reason we do put the butter in there is actually that helps to coat the
French already.
Coats the chicken, yeah, coats the chicken. And we might need to turn that up a bit.
It's the pan. It's because it's the eco-friendly pan. It takes a while to heat up.
I can feel it. Yeah, I can feel it coming through now. This is a very easy meal if you just want to leave it and go. You just have to make sure your poaching process is going. But this is the most important part of the whole thing. You've noticed there's no salt and pepper because we don't salt and pepper this yet, because that will actually dehydrate the liquid.
Oh.
So we want the infusion of the garlic and the wine in this.
There's so much science to cooking, I'm finding out.
A lot of science to cooking, just like there's science to wine.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's reasons why we do things.
Yeah.
So see how the little bubbles there, you'll find if you just So you can really smell that now, that beautiful, and it's blending quite well. So we're just trying to get rid of the alcohol in this dish. So we're not got too much alcohol, so everybody can drive the car afterwards. And all you have to do is now pop your chicken breast in. And you can make smaller pieces if you want. We're going to I just sort of like to mix it around a bit and just get it coated. See how it's gone white?
Yeah.
So that's sort of like a sealing process. You want to do that, otherwise your chicken breast in particular will dry out. So we've got that one.
Nothing worse than a dry chicken breast.
So we might just leave that one. We don't need to cook a mass of it. Yeah. So once that has...
How long would that take to cook?
This will take probably about 20 minutes to poach through. It's not a very thick piece. If you're in a hurry, you can thin those down a bit. I like to keep the breast actually quite full because a breast will dehydrate quicker than a leg or something like that. See how that's nice and done there. So I've got my stock. So you just
chicken stock?
This is chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock, just don't use beef stock. And what you want to do is just so that it is at least halfway up the thickest part of your chicken. So when that starts to bring to heat again, and you'll see it start to swirl around, another arty design going on there.
When you cook slowly, that's is it who does the night scene? The Scream, is it? With the swirls.
The swirls, yeah. So it's got to come together again. So I might make sure that edge, because I don't want it to dehydrate. So I'm just going to turn that over. That's beautiful. So we season at the end with this one, and you only use the white pepper because the white pepper is a finer texture as well, and also it's got a more precise, you don't need masses and masses of it. The white pepper's a more refined flavour. So when that comes up again, we're just going to push that up so that it boils.
As you said before, that...
See how that's bubbling a bit there now? That's perfect. That's perfect. So that's now what we call poaching. We're going to put a lid on that. Just grab my lid, and that is going to cook away. I will come back in about 5 minutes and just turn that over and turn it down if it needs to be. And that's all we do for the time being. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to just prep up a little bit before the chicken's finally finished, because we need to crush some walnuts, but you also want to leave a few pretty ones for later on, and you don't need that much. So I'm going to use my hands because I'm not one of these measuring cooks. So I've got about a handful
per chicken, or not that much. If you had 6 chickens, you would put.
Yeah. This sauce you can actually put aside and use again if you want to do the braising again. You can do that again. So I just use a Ziploc bag. Normally I have a smaller one. I'm feeling a bit like an environmental vandal doing this, and I just sort of put them around like that. So walnuts are quite soft. So if you actually use something like paper towel or something like that, they're going to stick in the paper towel. So don't do paper towel, but you could use, the greaseproof paper. Don't use foil, obviously they'll break through the foil because they've got those crunchy bits. So you just want it to be reasonably smooth, because this is going to go into the cream. So everything's sort of creamy. You've got creamy sauce, you've got the Chardonnay, which is beautiful and creamy as well, and the garlic. Now, somebody did ask me, can you use hazelnuts and stuff? But I don't think it would be nice with hazelnuts. Walnuts have got that bitter, that little bit of bitterness. So there you've got your sweet of the cream, you've got your savoury with the chicken, and you've got the contrast with these. So when we're talking about, complementing what you're cooking, and we're complementing the wine. So that's about it. You just want to make sure, because they're oily as well, so they come out a bit oilier once you've started bringing them around. And that just makes the cream a little bit more dynamic than just standard old cream. And as you can see, if you turn it over, there's a bit of an oil residue in there, and that's the oil. And that's what we'll do. And we'll just put that aside because we're going to leave that and use that later. And we're going to pick a few really pretty ones for the sauce, top. Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to check the chicken out, and as you can see, this has been poaching and it's got a little vent there, so it's letting some of the air out as well, so it's not going to ooze out over the top of the pan, which is smart. And you'll see that it's sitting there nicely. And I'm just going to turn that down a little bit because that will pretty much be cooked. And yeah, it feels
it
cooked.
does look nice and moist too.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to dehydrate that.
I'm not a fan of breast because it's always so dry.
That's right. So we're going to put this on the side. I actually might use that little one there, that little one there. We're going to put him aside. So what you would normally do is put that rested aside because it will keep cooking. And I need to reduce this a bit, so I really need to get this going. To reduce it. Now this has got, remember, the white wine and garlic and the stock in it. And when you've got more chicken breasts, obviously the stock will just push that out a bit. You don't need to use masses and masses of stock. What you need to do is get that nice convention steam going so that it's poaching but not drying out.
So is there a interesting story about who told us this? Found out from a French man. Is there an interesting story?
There is a story behind this one.
There would be.
This one was taught to me a long, long time ago by a French boyfriend that I had. Obviously he wasn't the one because he's not still around, but his dad was a chef.
Oh, nice.
And they came from Adelaide, and his dad showed me how to make this dish, and he showed me how to make beautiful French dressing as well with Dijon mustard, the French way, yeah. Okay. And how to cook steak properly, blue. So I thank him for that. There's always something good that comes out of something if you just, so it's really starting to reduce. You don't want to reduce it down and let it get brown.
It smells so good.
But the smell makes you hungry.
I wonder when TV cameras will be able to bring forward a smell.
Smell-o-vision has been around since Willy Wonka, hasn't it? The Willy Wonka wanted to do smell-o-vision. This is also really nice with nice crusty bread, green salad. You know, it's a very French dish.
Yes, yes, yes. We shall sit outside and eat it in the garden.
We trade well. So I've nearly got rid of all the liquid, and we're just left with the juices of the chicken and the garlic and the butter now. And I'm going to add the cream and the salt and pepper. So it's really taking off now. So we are going to just make sure that salt and pepper's just cooked through, because you know pepper and salt is a spice, so it needs to cook a little bit as well. And we're going.
And why did you put it at the beginning?
Because it will strip the moisture out of the chicken.
Oh, it'll dry the chicken.
And the stock already had enough chicken in it. Yeah, so you don't want to pull too much fluid in. Okay, so we're just going to add the cream. This is just regular cream.
Not sour cream.
Not sour cream. Regular cream. And as you can see, you just...
Pretty colours.
Yeah, pretty colours. Mix it all through. Now this will be flavour to individual. I'm going to probably add a little bit more. See how it's got that beautiful creamy, still yellow texture on that? You don't want it to be brown. That's why it's really important not to brown the garlic, because you have to start again and the cream picks up that really caramelized flavour from it. We just need to top it up a little bit more. And beautiful and thick. And now if you want to just grab me the hazelnuts.
Yep.
You can't let this sit. You have to keep, and if you want to, can you please pour those into my
Would-be omelette?
Beautiful, beautiful sauce. Sorry, a bit strategic here. So there we go. That's it. That's fantastic. I'm just going to turn that dot. I'm going to put some more actual pepper into this. A little bit more pepper.
I've never cooked with white pepper before.
Once you start cooking with white pepper, you will
What is
understand.
white pepper? Is it a white peppercorn? It's just a different type of peppercorn.
Yeah, it's finer too. It's finer, and you will smell this soon. Just to reheat that a little bit more, because you can have them sitting on the sides. So turn it over a bit.
There's chicken juice in the pan. Do you want that?
Yeah, please put that in. See how that's just bubbling now? We've just got to bring that back to heat. Just got to make sure it doesn't burn. Cream can burn and split really quickly. Bubbles are good, splitting is not good. But have a smell of that.
Yum. Very good. You can tell straight away it's French. Must be the combination of garlic cream
and you know, if
wine.
it was, you know, the walnuts, you know, walnuts and truffles and stuff, that sort of stuff. So that is pretty much done. I'm just going to put the lid on and turn it right down, or completely off. Is that off?
Oh, yes, that's off.
And we're just going to let that just rest for a minute.
Okay.
And then we're going to put a nice plate, and then I'm going to put it on and put some more pretties on the top.
Excellent.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so this has just been sitting there, and I've just want to turn this down. I just had it on for a second more. Turn it off, and let's lift this pan, and it's vacuumed down there because it's not been like poaching before, so there's not been like that constant steam pushing that bubble up. Now, Nat, do you want to have a wee taste of that and let me know? As you can see, that's much thicker now too. Now it's going to have a beautiful flavour of the garlic.
Oh, that is so yummy.
And
that is so yummy.
See where the pepper gives it that kick back in the throat? And the garlic. It is absolutely pièce de résistance.
It's very good.
Place it there. And if you're serving just one plate at a time, you can put your salad on the side. But we're going to make sure we've got all the juices in here. Now remember, there are slithers of garlic in this as well as the walnuts. And then we just put our few little extra bits on top. And if you've got a few, you know, you run it along like that. And just a wee little sprinkle of salt and a hint of the white pepper, not too much, you just want a tiny tad. And there you go.
Special.
There you've got my poached chicken in white wine with cream and walnut sauce.
Yummy.
Yeah, bon appetit.
We have finished our French chicken with creamy
White wine and
creamy
walnut cream sauce.
white wine and walnut cream sauce, and we're going to do a taste testing with the Chardonnay. So before we taste the food, we haven't tasted the Chardonnay. Now I know we've been drinking it, but
Yeah.
have a good smell.
So it's nice and fresh.
Nice and fresh.
Clean,
Yes.
which will go really well with the cream.
Yes. And it any aromas do you get from the Chardonnay?
Yeah, it's a bit peachy.
Have you tried our Chardonnay before?
Nope, this is the
So
actual
this is your
first time.
Are you a
haven't
Chardonnay drinker?
I don't normally drink Chardonnay. I tend to drink more red wine, but if I'm going to drink a Chardonnay, I prefer it to be nice and young.
Yeah. We're finding people that don't generally always like Chardonnay are enjoying our Chardonnay. So let's try it with our creamy wine, chicken,
Walnut
and
sauce.
Walnut sauce. I want some walnuts. Okay, this piece wants to stay together. It's married.
Yeah, this one's not coming apart either. So it shouldn't be dry yet.
So moist. Well done.
And you can get that pepper just coming through.
I like the pepper with the Chardonnay. It gives a little zing to the Chardonnay.
Yeah, it does. It lifts it, doesn't it? Straight away in that top end of the palate up there.
Because it is such a smooth Chardonnay.
It's perfect with this
goes
dish.
really
Absolutely
well.
perfect. I'm so happy that it goes
well
well
done.
with
Is
it.
that your first?
It's my first pairing.
Yeah.
It's my first pairing with the wine. But yeah, it just goes. It's just
It's
a
the pepper.
superb. It's a superb match, and it is the pepper that lifts that dish. You don't realise, but it's really important that you have the white pepper, not the black pepper. Hence the special trip to town.
Well done.
It is yum.
That
yum.
is really good. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Salute. Thank you for
Julie.
inviting me.
Thank you.